Hello, everybody. It's 12:28. We have 2 minutes to start. So we'll wait for a few more people to join us and we'll get started on the ins and outs of the Child Success Grant. So give us a few minutes, let some folks log on, and we'll start shortly. Hi, everybody. We will get started in just a few more moments. Just hang on. It's 12:30 now. We're going to give everybody another minute or two to join us. So just while we wait, I just want to remind everybody that this meeting today is for schools that are participating or applied to the Child Success Grants. So again, this is for schools that have not had a class observation yet or scored below a 5. So again, today's session is for the Child Success Grant. So as we wait another minute for more folks to join us, I just wanted to give everybody a reminder that, again, this is if you have applied for the Child Success Grants and you have a school that does not have a class score or scored below a 5. So I see we have a lot of staff on, and we're just going to wait a few more minutes to let some more directors or owners or providers join us. So hang tight and we will get started in just another minute. We want to be mindful of your own time as well. All right, well, welcome everybody. My name is Allison. I'm from the Early Learning Coalition. Thank you all for joining us today. We're going to take you through some slides. that will answer some questions that you may have about child success grants. And like we've done in the past, we will take questions, and we're going to use the raise your hand feature when we're ready to do the questions. This is being recorded, so we will be able to post it on our website. Remember, give us at least 24 hours to do so. And I think that's it. So I am going to figure out something for my screen. So I'm going to stop sharing for one moment. There you see me again. I am going to move my PowerPoint just so I don't look funny as I'm talking to you guys. Okay. I'm going to share my screen. All right, so here we go. Well, welcome again. Like I said, this is for the Child Success Grants. Please, so we know we want to be able to match up kind of who attended this orientation as we continue forward on setting up your Child Success Grant training. So please go ahead in the chat box, put your name, your email address, and your school name, because again, those people that apply for Child Success Grant, those are the only ones that were invited to today's Zoom. So we just want to make sure that we're capturing everybody as we continue the process of scheduling. So yes, thank you so much. Please put in your name, your email address, and your school just as a follow-up for us, so we know kind of who's had the information and who still needs the information. We'll give everybody another minute or two. So again, just please put your name, email, and school name into the chat. All right, so now we will move on. And again, just remind people that join us to do so. So again, if you remember when you signed up for the Child Success Grant, it was for, like we said, SR and or VPK sites with a class score less than a 5 or with no class score at the time of application. What does the Child Success Grant entail? So there are 2-segment training. So the first segment is 24 hours of Teachstone live training called MMCI, making the most of child interactions. We are starting pre-K because everybody is, the county VPKs are all being observed. So we wanted to start with one that is most relevant to a lot of our providers. So upon completion of the 24 hours, teachers do receive $500 and directors receive $600. Part of the requirement for this is that the director attends all 24 hours with their staff. So that's the first segment, 24 hours, where it really takes you into a deep, deep dive of the training itself. The second segment is, again, another MMCI, making the most of child interactions. This time we focus in on infant toddler. Again, for those of you that have school readiness, that is part of class for the past few years. So again, otherwise, it's just really great information. Again, as we think about continuity of care, everything starts at the infant. So we introduce you to the infant toddler class tools, because who knows down the road where class will lead. Then the final part of the Child Success Grant of training is they're looking at the possibility that if you have not had your class assessment, that after you attend these trainings and your score increases by 0.5 or more, or if it's your first assessment and right out the bat, you score above a 5, you are entitled to a performance bonus. This sounds great, but again, to get to the performance bonus, you have to attend all of segment 1 and all of segment 2. So if you have, let's say, 10 teachers that participated in segment 1 and 10 of the same teachers that participated in segment 2, and then based on timing, you are able to get another assessment in which either your score went up or it was your initial and you got over a 5, those 10 people will receive the performance bonus. Now, we do not guarantee the timing of either this post-assessment or this initial assessment because we have so many classrooms that we have to observe across the county that we just cannot guarantee the performance bonus. And again, it's only for those. You could have 10 people do segment 1, you could have 8 people do segment 2, and only those 8 that attended the first and the second would be entitled to the performance bonus. So now I wanted to talk to you guys about what this making the most of child interaction, these MMCI trainings, the 24-hour trainings are all about. So like I mentioned, it's 24 hours. However, since these trainings come directly from Teachstone, which we're all familiar with now, we've been taking trainings online through them, they have very specific requirements of how trainings are delivered. We here at the ELC have staff that are trained the trainers. We have been trained directly from Teachstone to bring you these trainings to our community. Again, they have very specific requirements on how we deliver. So basically, the biggest requirement is that these trainings can only be broken down into 2 or 4 hour segments. You cannot exceed 4 hours at one time per Teachstone. So where we might in our heads think, okay, 24 hours, that's, let's say 3 Saturdays of 8 hours, 8, 16, 24. Unfortunately, the way that this training is set up, it's set up in a way where you learn some of the content, you go back into the classroom, you work on it, come back to the training, share out, reflect, learn the next content. That's how it was designed. So again, we just want you guys to be very clear that these trainings will take place during nap time, during evenings and Saturdays. But again, we cannot exceed more than 4 hours at one time. If you have at your school more than 15 people, we are going to call you and coordinate to see how we can bring the training to you on site. Otherwise, if you have maybe, let's say, 4 people that are participating at your school, you're not a big school, we will have community trainings offered. Maybe you'll get lucky that a school down the street is hosting and they're willing to let in people from outside from other schools. Some preschools allow that. So again, we will ask that if you are willing to host and you have the space, that you do host some other educators. Again, I just want to reiterate that directors must attend both segments in full in order to count as completed, and the same for all our educators. And again, it's very strict guidelines through this process, and you really cannot miss any of the trainings because then you lose the content. And again, if you're taking it as a group, if one person misses, we can't stop the flow for just one person. So these are the requirements. This goes for the pre-K 24 hours and the infant toddler 24 hours. We also want to mention that there is another piece to the Child Success Grant that targets directors. And basically what that is we are offering for you to participate in the 2-day observer trainings for infant, toddler, or pre-K. So basically what we're offering to you as directors to come to the training that all of our staff takes to become observers out in the field when we come out and do your observations. So again, we're inviting you to come, see what the 2-day training is like, and you receive $1,200 for that class. You do have the opportunity, if you so desire, to take the actual exam that we all take as staff and observers at the end of the 2-day training. If you pass, that's great. You will have that certificate with you. It's good for 1 year. And then every year after that, you have to pay to be recertified. So again, just so you know, every time an observer comes out to your school to do a class observation, we attended this 2-day training, we passed the test, and then we retest every year. So you will have a little sneak peek into the preparation and professional development that goes into our process. These are 2 full-day trainings. You must attend both days. And again, these will be offered in person. If you want to host the site, host us, that's great, and welcome other directors. That's wonderful. We will be having it here at our location as well as some other locations. And this again, will be paid directly to the director. This $1,200. You could attend infant, you can attend toddler and pre-K. You could attend all 3, you could attend 1. It's completely up to you. We will be offering this as well to a limited number of schools that are non-child success sites, a very small number. We have some dollars set aside, just so you are aware of that as well. And that's basically, we're going to talk about some of that next week or later in the week. Again, all our information is still on our website, on our ARPA webpage. If you have questions, again, we always encourage you to go to this first before you reach out, because most likely the answers to any of your questions will be on the website. So again, I'm going to start now looking through the chat to answer some questions in the chat. And then if anybody does have questions, we can answer them directly. So there was a question, who's delivering the training? So again, it will be our staff, ELC staff that is trained, will be delivering all of these trainings. We're very lucky here in Broward County that we have all our staff trained in a lot of these trainings, because believe it or not, those other coalitions around the state that are directly relying on Teachstone to do some of these trainings, they're having a hard time because, you know, our state is very large and Teachstone is having a hard time meeting the needs across the state. So we're very lucky that we do have our staff trained on these. Everybody must complete both segments. You complete segment 1 for 24 hours and then segment 2. These are different trainings than the ones that were completed online. If the school chooses not to participate in the 2 segments, the director can participate in the 2-day observer training. Yes, again, there's going to be Saturdays, Sundays, there's going to be evenings, you know, if you have a large school, we are going to assign someone that will call you and you will figure out your calendar together. So we're trying to make this as convenient as possible for you guys to have your staff able to just attend either in their school down the street, or if you're up north, maybe come to our center, our site to attend these trainings. But again, what we can say is, yes, 24 hours is a lot of training. Unfortunately, like I mentioned before, we have to follow Teachstone's guidelines, and that means we cannot exceed more than 4 hours. So you're looking at most likely maybe 6 Saturdays. These are the rules and requirements that Teachstone has. You will be able to finish this. We are going to work with you to make sure we have until June 30th to complete everything. So again, we will do our best to meet your schedule, your needs, the best way possible. We do not have dates already for the training, because what's going to happen, like I said, based on all of you that applied, we have, I think about now we're up to about 60 schools that have applied. So we're looking at each of these schools, how many people that you have that will participate. And again, if you have a large number of people, we will come to you and we will work within your schedule to do so. Again, if you have 2 people, we're not going to come to your school to do 2 people. Unfortunately, that's not enough of a need for everybody to come out. That's great, Mariana. Like, we will connect with you. Sheila, you still can apply. You still can be part of this because we are going by the dates of application if you already applied, because we do know that at the time when you applied, you didn't have your score. So yes, you will still be able to participate if you guys so desire. You can email ARP funds at ELC Broward, or just put in the chat here, I would like to host. And please, if you're willing to host, please know that we're really counting on you guys to come together as a community and host your fellow educators in schools. That is the best way that you could help get everybody trained, get you guys trained, help your neighbors get trained. Again, everybody wants this information. Class is not going anywhere. So I understand that 24 hours might seem like a lot, and it is. But again, class is not going anywhere. So just think about that as you're making your decisions and weighing out 24 hours. Class isn't going anywhere. If you already did the pre-K infant toddler bonus, you did get a lot of the information already. Again, we're doing our best to meet the needs that you have.
Allison, I'm sorry to interrupt one thing. If you are going to be a host site, we do want to make sure that you understand that this is for adult learning. So it has to be a space that's conducive, because especially the MMCI is so many hours that you have adult sized chairs, adult sized tables that we're able to set up with a projector and a screen in a manner that everyone will comfortably be able to view the presentation, and that there's a little bit of space for people to move around, because MMCI is a little bit more interactive of a training where we put you in small groups and there's like little group activities. So just keep that in mind, because those are questions that you will be asked when we reach out to you to confirm that you want to host.
Thank you. Thank you, Amy. There was another question. Assistant, so who qualifies for the director bonus? So this is a hot topic. Basically, for director bonuses, you have to be in an administrative position at your school. It is not if you are a teacher and just happen to have a director's credential. It's for those that are in administrative roles at each school. Again, this is a leadership path. So we don't want to have differing roles. So again, if the director, assistant director, if you have a curriculum specialist on staff, anyone that's in a admin role will be able to do the director bonuses. Melody, you have 35 employees. Excuse me. Definitely will work with you, Melody. Now, it just has to be consistent, Melody. If the director participating, if it's the assistant director, then the assistant director has to commit to the whole process. It can't be director takes segment 1 and assistant director takes segment 2. It has to be, because what the state is looking for in the design of this is whoever is the administrator and attending with the staff will be able to continue the messaging past just this training. So everyone's hearing the same thing, and then the admin director, assistant director will take the baton and continue the professional development with the staff. There was another point I wanted to make also. If you apply for the Child Success Grant, before you had a score and you do get an observation and you get higher than a 5, you can call us and say, you know what, we just got over a 5 and we want to switch to the Continuous Quality Improvement Grant, the CQI, which is for only schools that have over a 5 score. So basically, my daughter's calling me. So if you would like to switch to CQI, where again, you create your own training plan, we have a vendor list, we have instructions that might suit your school better at this point in time. The ELC is not doing CQI trainings, but we do have a vendor resource list where you can reach out to somebody. So again, if you're looking at this and you're like, you know what, I just got a 5, I want to switch to CQI, and that way I can hire another person to bring some training to my school, and I can give bonuses to my staff. It's still 24 hours for CQI. However, the 24 hours are broken down into more of a different manner, because it could be in-person training, on-site training, Zoom training, coaching. You create a 24-hour training plan. So it's a little different than the Child Success Grant. So again, I wanted to mention that for some of you. So now I guess we'll go to the time where everyone can ask questions. One of the reasons why I do enjoy when we have these meetings and we ask you to raise your hand to ask some of the questions is because sometimes we don't understand your question if it's in the chat box. So we want to make sure, if your school does not want to present this, can the director do both the upskill director course? Yes, we are going to be talking about that this week. Again, if you want to do the upskill director, again, that is still 24 hours of MMCI. However, we will be offering the Child Success Grant director portion to non-Child Success Grant sites through other dollars. Again, we have not launched that out into the community just yet. We want to explain to everybody that applied for director upskill first. So again, if you go back to your school and you're like, you know what, we did pre-K bonus, we did infant toddler bonus, it was great information, we're getting towards the end of the year, we're not going to do child success. I think we're in a good shape right now. We got some training, we got some funding already from the school. You know what, we're good for now, but I'm going to attend these trainings as the director. That's totally fine as well. Again, we completely understand, we're in this with you, as we're in this with all the ELCs around the state and all the educators around the state, that we understand this was rolled out very quickly and very late in the year. So again, you know, we're rolling this out towards the second half of the year. And, you know, from what we're hearing, if we go back to some previous recordings, you'd probably hear me say, oh, I'm sure we're going to get some kind of extension. And we've had some changes up at the DEL office. I know some providers are aware that there is now a new chancellor. So with the change of regime, sometimes changes occur. And as of now, we are hearing that all the ARPA trainings and opportunities through this Building a World-Class Workforce will be ending on June 30th. So again, just wanted to make that mention that unfortunately, yes, this probably will be ending on June 30th. You need to apply by April 30th for your child success and your CQI, because again, at that point, once you hit May 1st, then there's really only 2 months left to comply to make your 24 hours or even your 48 hours if you're doing child success grants. So let me go back to some questions. So Lindsay, I hope I answered your question. Mariana, the 2-day observer for 3 age groups for the director can be done in combination with upskill. Yes, you can do upskill and you could do this other training. The 2-day observer training, you can do both. Again, I want to make it clear and again, I hope that if you're interested in upskill, you will attend Thursday's orientation Zoom that we're doing like this also, where we just explain everything. Again, upskill is 24 hours of MMCI in person. So again, there's coursework that's online and then MMCI in person for directors through upskill. And again, it's through an administrative lens. So let's see, keep the questions coming. Again, I spoke with someone earlier today and I know it's a lot of information. It just is. It's a lot of you know, X, but not Y, all of this stuff. It's very hard to keep track of it. We really are trying to do our best to make sure that you understand. Again, that's why, please, if you have questions, raise your hand, because sometimes just talking it through together is helpful. Carol, we can talk later offline. The director trainings, we have not put anything out yet to register. Just again, we did send out emails regarding upskill this last week. So again, please stay tuned for whatever email you use to sign up for upskill training or your child success training. Please stay tuned to your emails. Tia, we'll be in touch with you. Amy Amy has you down. Again, if you have 19 people, we'll talk to you separately about offline, about hosting. So right now, what we're hearing, Miss Adriana, is that the CQI and the child success needs to be completed, needs to be signed up for by April 30th. But again, if you have staff that's still working on your infant, toddler class bonus and pre-K bonus, that's okay. Those we're going to take up until the bitter end. Those will be okay till the bitter end, unless we hear differently from DEL. So again, today at this moment in time, I can confidently say we will take those bonuses and the recruitment bonus and the health and safety, all those we're going to take till hopefully June 30. And then we will sunset everything else. Just again, for CQI and child success, those you have to kind of pre-register in advance to make sure you meet those training hours. Again, if the owner is the teacher, is the director, if you're in the admin role, you can attend the upskill director trainings. Again, if you're, it's just the clarification that we want to make with these director trainings is that, again, I have a director's credential. Actually, I think it expired. I had a director's credential. If I'm the VPK teacher with a director's credential, I don't qualify for director training because I'm not in an administrative role. So again, when we see director, a lot of folks have their director credential, which is fabulous. But again, it does not apply in this case. This is all these director trainings are with a administrative leader lens. You have to, so Melanie, you asked a good question. You have a score now. Now, you can only get the performance bonus after attending both segments. The state is very strict on that policy. So again, I don't remember offhand what your scores were, but again, you might, if you have above a 5 for either one, for your SR or your VPK, and you decide, you know what, I rather do a CQI grant, apply for, we can remove your child success and move you to CQI if that's something that you're interested in. If you are the VPK director and if you're the VPK teacher and you are the director, yes, you can participate in the upskill or training portion. Again, if you are the director on file, if you are the assistant director, if you are an administrator at the school, you are in a leadership position at your program, you can attend the director programming training. The score you have now will count So I don't, again, but Melody, we could talk. I wish we would have talked Saturday. We could have got all in specific when I saw you. I think I just want to make sure I understand. I'm asking if the score we got now is the one that will count. Yes, most likely, Melody, the score you have now will count. We cannot guarantee a post-assessment after the training. It could happen, but most likely, again, we have to finish all the VPK classrooms in the county. So we're running up, and those all have to be done by June 30th because everybody needs a class score to have their next year's contract. So again, having a post-assessment is not guaranteed. Yes, yes. I'm gonna unmute you now because I don't know why it's like that.
Okay, yeah, that's kind of what I was just trying to get at. Like, it does the school, you don't have to be assessed after the training. It just is, you can't apply for the bonus until after the training. But if you didn't have a score when you first started, but now you have a score, it doesn't matter that the score wasn't after the training was completed. It's just the difference in the score from when you started till now.
Yeah, it's kind of weird like that, but yes.
Okay, that's all.
And again, and just another added caveat to that, if you have 5 people, well, I know if you have 10 people do segment 1, but only 5 people do segment 2, only the people that did 1 and 2 will get the performance bonus.
Correct. Okay. Thank you.
Of course. Tia sent me another message. We will take care of you. And I want to shout out Tia because she was very cute in her message to me because she referenced the blue paper. And we worked really hard as we were giving out all the ARPA information to color code everything. So thanks, Tia, for paying attention to our different color coding. It's a little win for me anyway. So in my corniness of everything. So thanks for referencing the blue paper. We will get back with you about the training. Tia, did you want to say something too? No, okay. Okay. Anybody else have any other questions? So again, to recap today's call, you're here because you applied for a child success grant, which means you have a VPK or an SR contract with us, and your class score for either program is less than a 5, or you have no score yet. Again, if you want to participate in the segment 1 and the segment 2, 24-hour training of each in at most 4-hour segments. Again, you have from now until June 30 to complete these trainings. You will be receiving financial incentives for doing so. And again, there is a director component. So we are going to make sure we are going to go hell high water. If you are doing child success, we're going to make sure that you finish in time by June 30th. Adriana, do you want to unmute?
Yes, Miss Allison, how are you? I just have a question. It is not related to this grant exactly, but I just have my staff is spending on the intro to the class in-person training. I just have a question. If we cannot complete this by April 30th, it will be an inconvenience, or we have until June 30th to complete this training as well?
Everything you have, everything to complete is June 30th. It's just applying for either the CQI or the child success. That has to be by August 30th. I mean, I'm sorry, cool. April 30th.
Applying like the school applying.
Correct.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, because again, let's think about this logically, everybody. On April 30th, let's say you apply for your training. We see you apply. We have 2 months to get you guys completed with your 48 hours of training. We could do it. We could do it as combinations of evenings and Saturdays and things like that. We are The next question, when should we expect a phone call? We are now, what's the word? We are out there. You should be getting a phone call any day now. We are, just to give you guys a little background, this weekend, this Saturday, we had 3 infant toddler intro sessions. We had one in the north, central, and south going all at once. We have going on Friday, this Friday. We have on Saturday, next Saturday. We've done Sundays. Again, we are out in force. And again, if you are interested, you will get it. You just have to be patient and work with us, because again, we do have about 1,500 educators in Broward that want to participate in all of this. So we want to make sure everybody gets their turn.
And just to add to what Allison just said, the same staff that we do have a large staff, thankfully, as Allison said, we're pretty blessed here on this end of the state, but the same staff that do these trainings are also the same staff that are going out to do assessments and coaching and all those things. So we're meeting with them to assign out what's on our roster as far as based on your numbers, so that you should this week be receiving a call, especially for the infant toddler. For the infant toddler, by this week, you should be receiving a call from whoever is going to be facilitating your training. For the MMCI and the observer trainings, those are going to be rolling out.
And I just want to mention that we do know that there are several schools that will be closed this week, some days next week, closed Friday. Again, we understand that, and we're still going to try to work with you guys the best way possibly we can. So again, like we said, we are now assigning these out to staff. One of the reasons why we wanted to have today's meeting is because we wanted to make sure that everybody knows, for lack of a better way to say it, what they're getting into with the MMCIs. Because again, this is not the first time that Broward County staff has done all these MMCI trainings across the county. If you were part of the pilot program, you might have received it. So we know from the perspective of a trainer and the perspective of staff and educators, how in-depth, how encompassing these 24 hours are. So we just wanted to make sure everybody is still committed and is ready to go with their 24 hours. Again, that's the most important thing of why we're having today, so everybody knows, because also, again, when you think 24 hours, you might think, okay, that's 3 Saturdays. But unfortunately, the way Teachstone has us set up, it cannot be more than 4 hours in a day. Again, I just want to reiterate something. As we do these infant toddler intro trainings, we did some this weekend. I just want to reiterate that as much as we would love to say that the trainer does the training and the first thing she's going to do the next time she sits down to do work is to update the attendance. Again, our folks that are doing these trainings, they are our education staff. They are multifaceted. They wear many hats. A lot of them are doing class observations to make sure we complete those by June 30th. A lot of them are doing walkthroughs to make sure schools are ready for their class assessment. So again, please be patient. All I can say to you is we got you. We got you. We will make sure you get your money the best way possible. And again, It might not be the next day. And again, even the trainer that I think did the March 9th, I want you guys to understand something with that trainer in particular. We had walk-ins that were not pre-registered. So that created a whole other step that we couldn't close out the training. Not only did that trainer give up her Saturday to help us and do that training, and again, we sat here and there was no AC and we powered through everybody, and we're sorry that, it couldn't be instantaneous, but because Broward is the best ELC in town, and I will say that on recording, we are the best. So that trainer in particular, out of the goodness of her heart and in the spirit of kindness and collaboration, Monday morning after that Saturday, she drove all the way out to Southwest Florida to do an observation for that coalition. Then she came back and she had a ton of observations to do for us. So she's getting it done. We promise you, you will get your bonus. Just be patient. Again, please know that we are working on it. And again, that's why we understand that it might be frustrating right now. Oh, it's full already. It's full already. We understand that, but we're going to do this until June 30th. That is our word to you. If you don't get in now, you will get in after spring break. If you're on spring break next week, we will get you going again, or come during a spring break session. Like, again, we appreciate you're on break. However, this is money coming to you on the side. So again, we want to help you the best way we possibly can. Just work with us. And again, stay tuned to your emails, to our website. Again, Child Success Grant, folks, you will be getting a phone call from someone. And I will tell you right now that as soon as our meeting right now, this Zoom ends at 1:30, our whole staff of trainers will be having our own meeting, because we are going to be getting prepared to go through the process of enrolling you educators into it, closing out the training, what's been working, what hasn't been working. We take a lot of this very seriously. So again, our whole team that have done some of these already, that will be doing them, we're coming together at 1:30 to go over all the ins and outs of what will make a successful infant toddler intro training for you guys. So that's, we promise you, you will get into those courses. And again, Child Success Grant, the MMCI, if you are still interested after this Zoom, we will meet your need. And again, directors, a big idea is to do Friday, Saturdays for some of these 2-day trainings. That way you're only out of the school one day. Again, we are going to do our best to meet your needs. Everything needs to be completed by June 30th. You just need to apply by April 30th. Yeah, I don't see any hands raised. Anyone have any other questions they want to ask? You can always email arpfunds@elcbroward.org. We're always looking at that email. A lot of you have your special S, either Shakivia, Brittany, Yancy, Belinda, even maybe Destiny. Some of you have heard from all these ladies. They are here to help process all these bonuses and answer questions that you may have. I think some of them are on this call also, so shout out to our S team as well. And yes, if you signed up for the upskill bonus, you will receive the director information, and ultimately all schools will receive information regarding the 2-day training opportunities. Well, I certainly hope we've answered all your questions. Again, we leave it to you now to think what's the best decision for your school. We know that 24 hours is a lot. But again, it's up to you guys what's going to work best for you and your school. So if you have other questions, please don't be afraid to reach out to your S or to arcfunds@elcbroward.org.
Allison, before you end,
Kimberly, go ahead.
yes, there's a question with Tia Johnson. I was just waiting for someone to reply. Will the communication for the director of courses be sent out via email? I missed that answer.
Yes, we will be sending out. First up is Thursday when we have our upskill orientation. After that, we're going to be updating all schools. So make sure you're on our list to get emails.
Okay. I'll make
And
sure.
anything we send out to directors will also always be sent to your S's and to your provider relations staff. So again, if you work with Felicia and you're like, wait, I don't know if I got this, you could always ask Felicia and she'll make sure that you get the information. Again, our coaches are going to be aware of everything. Again, we ask that you use our website and ARC funds because those are really the best ways to get your questions answered.
And
yes,
to piggyback on
hashtag-
that, oh, sorry.
No, go.
Just to piggyback on that, Kimberly, those of you that are signed up currently for Child Success, even if you choose not to do the segment 1 and segment 2, you will be the first ones to get the emails about the observer trainings before it even goes out to those extra slots that Allison mentioned. Since you had already applied, all of you would be the first ones to receive those dates.
Then
And
I can
again,
still do the
If your
segment-
school has applied for the Child Success Grant and you go back and you speak with your staff and you're like, guys, 24 hours, 48 hours of training, are we going to do it? Are we not? If they say no, you can still participate in the 2-day trainings. Again, part of the whole reason why we also have these director opportunities is because what data shows us is that directors are the most stable at our schools. So again, we want to invest in you guys and you can continue the messaging of class.
Amy, this is Kimberly again. So when you reach out to me, I am interested very much in segment 1 and segment 2, but I don't want to move too quickly. I want to take care of the first step, finish the first step, right?
This is the first step.
Oh,
Did
okay,
you apply?
I did.
Okay, then again, it's just making sure that you have a conversation with your staff that we're going to do this, guys, 24 hours first and then another 24 hours.
And again, just to add to that, sorry. Just to add to that, these trainings are going to be happening concurrently. There is no, we're doing one and then we're stopping and we're doing the next and we're doing the next. So if you still need to do your infant toddler, we're going to coordinate that. If you're going to do segment 1 and segment 2, we're going to coordinate that. We're going to roll out dates for observer trainings, and you're going to have to pick which one works best for you while ensuring that you're doing your MMCI segment 1, segment 2, and your infant toddler intros if you have the infant toddler bonus. So you just have to kind of like map it out for yourself, and it's a case by case for everyone of how it's going to be. But for us, we have to kind of just roll out the whole plan and then let you kind of figure it out again for each one of you in your particular situation.
Okay, well, thank you guys for joining us. Give us at least 24 hours to post this video on our website, on our ARPA page. And again, that's your first line of defense, and ARP funds at elcbroward.org. So we wish you guys a great rest of the day, a great week. And for those of you, we'll see you on Thursday's Upskill Director Zoom then as well. Have a great day, everybody. Go Broward.